Live from Moscow, it's 1 p.m. My name is Matthew Casserly. I'll be the host of today's webinar about Yandex.Direct. I work here at Yandex in the International Sales Department. We've done quite a few videos in English for our advertisers located outside of Russia, but this is our first live webinar. So please be kind, send us your feedback at the end, let us know what we can improve. If you have ideas for future topics of webinars, let us know at the end. I'll try and make this a painless experience, an informative experience, and for those of you that leave comments on our YouTube videos like, why is he always so sad and poor guy, today I'm even going to try to smile. So we can begin. First, let's look at what we're actually going to be talking about. First, we're going to talk about the process of optimization, when, why, and how. How do you know if it's time to do it? How do you actually optimize your campaigns? What's the point of optimizing your campaigns, etc. We'll talk about account structure and account quality, different indicators that can help you with your account quality, managing your campaign budget, the campaign settings, how to check the quality of your ads, and then we'll finish off talking about how to refine your keywords. So, let's begin. Before we start talking about how to optimize your ad campaigns, we need to talk about when and why. To figure out if it's time for you to optimize your campaigns, we've collected a couple scenarios that you might have come across yourself with your own campaigns. If these sound familiar to you, then keep listening. We're going to explain. But please also keep in mind that this is not an exhaustive list. So you might have another situation that can also be indicative that it's time to optimize your campaigns. OK, so first scenario that might be indicative that it's time to optimize your campaigns. Let's say that you recently launched some new promotions. You introduced some new products or services to your site. Of course, you want to make sure that your keyword list and your ad copy reflect this. Yeah? If you don't have information about your sales and promotions or new products in your ad texts, or if you haven't added to your keyword list to cover the new products or services that you've added, you are going to be losing out on users that could be within your target audience. So that's definitely a good time to optimize your campaigns. Second, you've got campaigns. They're running, but you're not getting a lot of clicks. This probably has to do with your reach, that you need to broaden your reach. The first way we recommend dealing with this would be to download and analyze your keyword statistics. It's probably worth it to add broader keywords to your campaigns and expand the coverage of your target audience. But we'll talk more about keywords later. Next. You're getting attention from users, but they're not the clients that you're looking for. So let's say, for example, you are selling some kind of luxury goods, and everyone that's calling your company or sending requests or looking at your site seem to be looking for products that are more mid-price range. Yeah? The culprit here is most likely your keyword list and your ad text. Excuse me. The first thing you can do is look at your ads and imagine yourself as a potential customer looking at your ads. Make sure that it's actually clear that your products are luxury products and not from a different price range. So we'll discuss how to deal with that later. Let's look at the fourth scenario. You're getting clicks, but your clicks are quite expensive. This is a very obvious situation when you definitely need to optimize your campaigns. Campaigns that perform badly have higher cost per click. So optimizing your campaign can definitely decrease your CPC. That's an easy one to deal with. And the last one, your campaigns are getting clicks, but you're not getting any calls or orders. Yeah? So you're getting low conversion rates. This can be linked to the fact of whether you're reaching your target audience or not, or the wrong audience. In this case, we generally recommend trying out automated CPA strategies, which we'll talk about later, and using Yandex.Metrica, which we'll also discuss later. So These are just some of the example scenarios that call for optimization. No matter what your motivation is in terms of optimization, the starting point will always be the same. You always want to analyze the current situation of your account. So, let's move on. To analyze the current situation of your account, Yandex offers 3 tools. You've got Yandex.Direct and the stats that are offered within Yandex.Direct. You've got Yandex.Metrica, which is our completely free web analytics tool. And you've got WordStat. WordStat we'll talk about in just a minute. So, let's look at the stats that are available within Yandex.Direct. If you open the All Campaigns page, and you look on the left-hand side here, you can see there's a link for statistics for all campaigns. This is a useful report if you just need some overall data for impressions, clicks, CPC, and your ad spend over a selected time period. But in most cases, when you start optimization, you will need to use Report Wizard within Yandex.Direct. So let's head there straight away. You can see that it's at the top of the stats page. So, good question here is, why do we want to look at stats at all? Yeah? The answer sounds a bit, let's say, pessimistic. We want to look at your campaigns, our campaigns, and we want to see which of them are performing the worst. Once we identify them, we can start improving them. So, Report Wizard. Report Wizard is the universal tool that Yandex.Direct offers for generating statistical reports. One of the most common uses for Report Wizard is just to compare performance of your campaigns over time periods. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of the screenshot, you can see the button there, A/B, Compare Periods. In the cross-sections block on the left-hand side here, you can choose the cross-sections of data that you want to add to your report. And in the columns section on the right, you choose the indicators that you want to be there. We've got things like impressions, clicks, CTR, average CPC, etc., etc. Let's keep looking at data at the campaign level. And here you can see we've got a new report opened. In this report, we are selecting data for a selected period. We're choosing the month of September. And we've grouped it for the entire report period. We don't need data grouped by week, since our goal is to compare the overall performance of all our campaigns and identify the ones that are performing worst of all. We also need to choose an attribution model. Yeah? Last click from Yandex.Direct, last non-direct click, last click, first click. If you have questions about what attribution models are or how to use them, how to choose one, we have articles available on Yandex.com/ADV about attribution models. You can get plenty of information about that. So, as you can see here, looking on the right-hand side, we zoomed in to show you the numbers. We can see that there are clear leaders in these campaigns and ones that are definitely lagging behind. If we compare CPA, if we compare conversions, goal costs, costs as low as 17 cents and as high as 13 euros. So we've got a very wide range here. Sometimes we have too much data in a report and we need to filter it somehow to see the indicators that we need, only the indicators that we need. Let's take a look at how this can be done. So, on the Report Wizards page, you can see here again, as I mentioned, the cross-sections and columns. Let's say that you've got some kind of hypothesis that you want to check. For example, you're selling a product and you think that it is most popular among men aged 55 and older. Yeah? In the cross-sections on the left-hand side, we'll choose campaigns. And in the column section on the right, we'll choose impressions and clicks. At the bottom of the page, we can add filtering criteria, which will further refine the data that we use in our reports. You can see we've got a wide range of filtering criteria available, but in this case, we are interested in age and gender. So we've clicked here older than 55 and chosen male. And we will click Save Filter. And the report that will result will give you the information that you need in order to be able to see whether your hypothesis is in fact true. Quite simple. Moving on with Report Wizard, we can also construct graphs right in your report pages. Take note that graphs can only compare two types of measurements. For example, indicators like impressions, clicks, CTR you see in the drop-down menu here. And depending on which indicators you choose in that drop-down menu, you'll also be able to choose from your cross-sections. The columns you pick will determine which cross-sections are available. These graphs are especially useful if you want to get a visual overview of your campaign's clicks and conversion volumes over time. And you can see here that you can also export them if you then want to use them in a presentation within your own company, something like that. So, if you have any kind of report that you're using regularly, you have the option to save it. When you click on New Report, you can see here on the left-hand side, you will see the name of the report. This is good if you have reports that you want to refer to on a regular basis. For example, you're responsible for showing these reports to several different members of your team. Save them. If at any point they're no longer useful, you can just click on the little trash bin there, and they'll disappear from the list. And as I mentioned, you can export the reports in several formats, send them to your colleagues if you need to. This generally saves time. So, next, the search queries report. One of the most important reports that we use, that we offer. It shows the exact search queries that bring users to your site. So you can see we went to the statistics section, we clicked on search queries. Now we're choosing how we want to group our data. We already indicated which indicators we want to use, impressions, clicks, CTR, etc., etc. We choose the time period for analysis, and then we click Show at the bottom. We recommend that you check this report regularly for two reasons. One, because you want to add the most effective search queries that you have to your keyword list, your regular keyword list. If these search queries are regularly bringing you the kinds of users that you want within your target audience with high conversion rates, then of course you want to add them to your keyword list. But, quite importantly, if you see search queries there that are clearly from people that are not looking for your products or services, and we'll give a good example later, then you should add them to your negative keyword list. That way you can exclude them from seeing your ads and avoid paying for these impressions that you don't want to have. Let's move on. As we're looking at the search queries report, you can see on the left here, obviously we've got the report in English, search query, group number, etc., etc. But the search queries themselves are in Russian. If you don't speak Russian, you'll need help from maybe a Russian-speaking colleague or from your very, very helpful Yandex manager to help you analyze this report. We can see people here are searching queries looking for different types of winter coats, not only winter. But you can see here that we've highlighted one search query that sticks out. Yeah, it's including a brand name that's not one of the companies that we ourselves are selling in our campaign. So we're going to want to add this specific brand name to our negative keyword list. All you need to do is tick the box next to it. You can see that we can add the keyword to the campaign level, or if you click on the drop-down menu, you'll be able to add it to the ad group level. And we're going to add this specific word, Yevgeny, this name of this brand of coats that we ourselves do not sell in our company, to make sure that if people are searching for that specific brand, that they're not going to see our ads. Okay, let's move on. Yandex.Metrica, a very important, a very useful, a very, very cheap to use, absolutely free service that Yandex offers to analyze your site. If you set up a Yandex.Metrica tag, again, for free, on your site, you'll be able to get more in-depth information about your campaign's performance, including things like page depth, conversion rates, CPA, and it will also allow you to use all sorts of automated strategies that cannot function without Yandex.Metrica. You can see the type of statistics that we can see with Yandex.Metrica here at the bottom of the screen. Let's move on. So, if you currently do not have Yandex.Metrica installed, you don't have a tag on your site, you don't have goals set, we have separate videos on our YouTube account that explain very clearly just how easy it is to create an account, to create a Yandex.Metrica tag. So we recommend you look at them immediately after the webinar is finished. If you already have a Yandex.Metrica tag installed on your site and have already created goals for it, then the next steps will help you gather accurate stats from Yandex.Direct to use then in your Yandex.Metrica reports. So first, we want to add the Yandex.Metrica tag. You can see here at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've added the number. These are in your campaign settings. Then you're enabling link tagging. We've ticked the box here. And also important, once you enable link tagging, make sure that your destination page, the URLs, open correctly once you enable link tagging. Again, our videos on YouTube cover this. If you need more information, just make a note to yourself and check them after we finish the webinar. Okay. So here we are looking at Yandex.Metrica reports, and we want to create a Yandex.Direct costs reports. So on the left, we're clicking reports, standard reports, sources, and at the bottom here, Yandex.Direct costs. Yeah, if you have trouble seeing, now it's bigger. So remember that you want to check the report period, the attribution model, as we have already mentioned, and the data grouping in order to get the data that you are actually looking for. So then you want to choose your dimensions, metrics, and a goal. Each report contains metrics grouped into dimensions. Here you can see those windows a bit bigger. Next, let's move on to the next service that we wanted to talk about, which is WordStat. Yandex's service that helps you select keywords for your campaigns. What does WordStat actually offer? If we look here, we've got the interface switched into English, but you can see obviously the search queries are in Russian. We've got an entry field. We type in a search query. We hit search. And on the left-hand side, we can see the numbers for how many displays per month for that specific search query. And below it, you see that specific search query and long-tail keywords that long-tail queries, excuse me, that included. On the right-hand side, we can see queries that are similar to the ones that you entered. What kind of options do we have here? At the top, in the search bar, you can see that we can choose by keyword, by region, or the query history. And on the right-hand side, we've got the option to choose the display region. Yeah. What does the WordStat site help you do? Here we've got a query by someone looking to buy an holiday package holiday online. Yeah? We can see here that the most popular queries, for example, some of them include the names of countries, like Turkey, for example. If you are selling holiday package tours, but you don't sell packages to Turkey, you can then make the decision to add Turkey to your negative keyword list to avoid appearing for those types of queries. Also, if you look on the right-hand side and you see that some of these queries are quite relevant for your campaign, you can then choose them and add them to your regular keyword list to be able to cover more of your target audience. Let's go on to see more of what WordStat can offer. If we search for the same query by region, we get a map of the territory of Russia. If you look on the right-hand side here, the darker the color, that means the more requests, the more displays per month for that specific query. So here we've got quite a lot from Moscow and the Moscow region, and from Murmansk, up on the border with Finland. Other areas that are completely gray, very little interest, very little search activity for this specific query. You can also see on the right-hand side of our stats here, regional popularity. This is just simply comparing the number of queries, the number of times this query is searched for different regions. We can see that Yekaterinburg and the region around it are kind of topping this list in terms of people looking for holiday package tours. Clearly, everyone wants to get out of Yekaterinburg and go someplace on holiday. I haven't been there. I can't say why they would want to do that. If you look on the just below the search bar there, you can see that we can choose the user device type, desktops, mobiles, phones only, tablets only. We can also choose, we can toggle between seeing our stats as a list, as on the left, or as a map on the right. Why is this important? If your business operates only in certain regions in Russia, for example, you only offer delivery or your services in general in Moscow and maybe St. Petersburg, then you want to pay attention to this map, because you're going to be getting a lot of queries to people that are living outside the regions that you actually serve, which can be quite irrelevant, and they won't bring you the clients that you need. This is something that you can then take note of and consider when you're setting up your geotargeting, which we'll talk about a bit later. Okay, let's move on. When we're looking, you can see here that we then switched from by keyword to by region now to query history. This gives us the historical data about how people search for specific queries. This is extremely important if you have, if you're in some kind of industry with very seasonal demand. Yeah. Why is this important? You can compare the seasonality of demand in Russia to other countries where you might be operating, see the differences. This can help you make sure that your budget is significant enough for when search activity is highest, things like that. You can see that we can group data by month or by week. Again, we have the option to choose user types. We can see in the graph dynamics both the absolute and the relative search volumes. And if you're more a fan of numbers than graphs, then you can look at the data by month in the view that we're showing below. So, yeah, if you have some kind of business where demand is kind of steady all year round, maybe this won't be so interesting for you in that sense. Okay, I told you that I was going to give you a kind of crazy example of why WordStat is important. So, first, I just want to point out a couple things. On the left-hand side, if you look at this graph, we're looking at a scale of millions of queries in 1 month. Okay, so we're talking about a search query that's being entered by a lot of people. Yeah. This is a historical case that actually happened in late 2015 or 2016. The search query is for a common Russian misspelling of the luxury French shoe brand Louboutin. In Russian, they write Laboutene. I'm actually not sure I'm pronouncing the mispronunciation correctly, but forgive me. What happened here? French luxury high-heeled shoes. Not a ton of demand, at least not enough to register when you're looking at a scale of millions of queries per month. Everything was very steady until mid-December. All of a sudden, we see queries shooting up, peaking in February, and then slowly beginning to drop over time. Now, if you for example, are selling high-heeled shoes, you would obviously see your statistics kind of go wild during this period, especially if this keyword is included in your campaign. You would see your cost per click increase. You would see your CTR drop. Suddenly you've got millions of people searching for shoes, but no one's going to your site. What's happening? This is an example of why you need to talk to your Yandex manager when something crazy is happening, when something strange is happening. Because this has nothing to do with high-heeled shoes. This has nothing to do with people wanting to buy shoes. This has to do with a Russian ska group called Leningrad. You can look them up if you want to. They had a very popular song that was very popular. People were searching for it a lot, but they didn't know the name of the song. They knew that the song mentioned this brand name. So they were searching for the lyrics. They were searching for maybe the music video. They were searching for an MP3 or where they could listen to the song. But they were definitely not looking to buy luxury high-heeled shoes. So this is really a case where, especially if you don't speak Russian, it will be quite difficult to figure out what's happening. You need to have somebody who's kind of got their finger on the pulse of what's happening in Russia to understand why all of a sudden your campaign statistics are going wild. Also, importantly, I just want to say, this also explains something quite important, which is the fact that external factors outside of your campaign, outside of your own site, they do have an effect, and it can be a significant effect on your campaign. So if everything was working quite fine and suddenly your campaign isn't doing as well as it was over a short period of time, talk to your Yandex manager. It might not be your fault. It might be a ska group that's ruining your campaign statistics. So, okay, that was just a kind of funny aside. Let's move on. Account structure. When we're talking about account structure, we're talking about how logically you have set up your account. Generally, when we talk about account structure, there's an indicator in your within Yandex.Direct that will help you understand how well you have structured your account. That indicator is called account quality. You can see your account quality up here on the right, upper right-hand corner of the interface. It is measured on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 is the best. It's updated every 24 hours. It takes all kinds of factors into account. But what is important for you to know? Below your account quality, your current account quality, we can see 3.20. That's not great. You can see that it was previously 3.20. That will change over time. You've got a link to an article where you can read about the factors that affect your account quality score. And here, most importantly, we've got a list of recommendations, on how you can improve your account quality. Just an important thing about these recommendations, if, as many of our clients do, you have separate accounts for search campaigns and ad network campaigns, some of these recommendations may in fact sound kind of irrelevant. If you get, you can see here, separate your campaigns into search and ad network specific campaigns. Or, for example, it might say you should consider showing your ads in ad networks. Obviously, if you have two separate accounts, not two separate campaigns, two separate accounts, some of these might be irrelevant. But these are all clickable. These are all clickable. You can get more information on what is meant by the recommendation and how that can then improve your account quality score. Your account quality is for you. It doesn't affect your cost per click or anything like that. It's for you to get an idea of how well your account is working. Let's move on and look at what else affects it. Extremely important for your account quality and generally for the performance of your campaign is relevance. You want to maintain relevance across your whole account. So your ad copy should be relevant to what people are searching for. It should respond to the user's search query. The relevance of your ads affects their CTR, and it also affects your ad campaign's overall performance. So you have the keyword, you have your ad text, you have your landing page. There should be a clear line, there should be a clear link between all of them. Someone sees your ad because they entered the search query "buy digital camera." You have the keyword set "buy digital camera." Your ad appears. When they see your ad, they read the text, something like "choose from our wide array of digital cameras." Yeah? They arrive at your landing page and they see a list of all the digital cameras that are available on your site. Yeah? There's a very clear sequence, there's a clear link. So you want to make sure that your texts, keywords, and your landing page are all relevant. This is extremely important. If a user visits your site and does not see how they can then kind of fulfill the need that they were looking to fulfill, for example, finding a digital camera, finding a holiday tour package, buying plane tickets, whatever they need. If it's not clear to them, then they will likely just leave your site. So this means you need to do some analysis of your own site, of your own ads, and your keyword list to make sure that there's relevance maintained across the whole thing. So when you want to develop the right structure for your account, the first step should be to take a careful look at your own site. We're going to use an example of an online flower shop. First, we want to look at what they do, sell flowers. What services they offer, I don't know, bouquets, fresh cut, delivery, things like that. Regions that they operate in. So let's look a bit closer. Here we've structured the account by product. So for example, we offer bouquets that are just roses, just tulips. We offer bouquets. We also offer dried flowers. We can set up our site by occasion. Flowers that someone's going to buy for birthdays, for weddings, graduation ceremonies, Mother's Day, anything like that. By our query type, generic, something like "buy flowers Moscow," branded, they're entering a certain company name and mentioning flowers. People that are looking for your competitors, branded queries for your competitors. Queries that are broader, that are for the Yandex advertising network, and also related queries. And also we also want to look at, we want to mention our location. Again, I mentioned if you only service certain regions, for example, flowers, you only have branches in certain cities. Not only do you want to only reach out to those cities where you actually operate, but you also want to maybe customize your ads for each of those cities to emphasize that you are a local company, that you're nearby. So even just when you're choosing the name of your campaign, you want to make sure that the name of your campaign reflects what's actually happening within that campaign so that it's easier for you to keep track and easier for you to look at your statistics. For example, if you're making one of your campaigns wedding roses, generic queries in Moscow, then you'll be able to see, okay, maybe my business, maybe my search queries are down not because something's wrong with my campaign, but you know, it's not just not as popular to get to have your wedding in a city like Moscow. Okay, not Moscow, maybe a smaller city, yeah, something like that. So as you structure your account, you want to make it logical so that you yourself will be able to analyze your statistics later on as easily as possible. Next, we'll move on to your campaign budget. So whenever we're talking about optimizing campaigns, there are several things we need to pay attention to right away. One of those most important ones, that's bidding strategies. As you probably know, in Yandex, we've got two options for your bidding strategies. You can use manual bidding strategies. Means that you'll always get the highest position available for the bid that you yourself set. Or you can use automatic strategies. And you can see here, some of them require you to install a Yandex.Metrica tag on your site. So again, this is very important. If you use an automatic strategy, it means that Yandex.Direct will set your bids for you, either to get clicks at a certain price or to get the maximum traffic for the specific budget that you set. Very important in all this is to be able to calculate your optimal bid. In the past, a lot of people like to just set bids as high as possible in the hopes that they would just win every auction. The problem is that when multiple advertisers are doing this at once, the auctions can kind of go wild and you can end up spending more than you actually wanted to. So we recommend setting an honest bid and calculating the optimal bid. If you've already placed ads, you can look at your statistics and calculate the bid that makes the most sense for your business. You can also estimate, use your own estimate. For example, you can estimate, you can look at your revenue. Let's say it's 3,000 rubles, and you could look at the number of clicks that you got. To calculate your optimal bid, you're simply going to divide revenue by clicks, 3,000 divided by 50, and your optimal bid will be 60 rubles. It's quite simple. This is not really difficult math, but very important that you don't end up paying more for clicks than you want to. Let's look at manual bid management. You set the bids yourself, you monitor your statistics yourself, you make changes to the bids yourself. Click prices in auctions, as is written here, updated every 15 minutes. Manual bid management, it takes a lot of time and attention. But of course, it depends on your goals for your campaign. For some advertisers, this is the optimal way for them to manage their bids. You can see the time of the last update at the bottom of the page there, the last time it was updated. You can set daily budget limits and the minimum average daily budget, depending on which currency you're using, 300 rubles, $10, or 10 euros. If you look here, we can see that our keyword, специалист по обучению Яндекса, written obviously in Russian because people search in Russian in Yandex generally. And we've got the field for actually setting the bid on the right. Set your budget, click save, simple. You get the maximum numbers of impressions available and the maximum number of clicks available within the budget limits that you set, within your display regions that you've set in your geotargeting, and so on. Obviously, your competitors that are also showing ads for the same keywords, that the level of competition also affects, will affect your performance with manual bid management. And that makes it all the more important to be checking these reports regularly. So if we're looking at automatic strategies, let's look first at click optimization. We've got the weekly budget. So this strategy effectively distributes your campaign spending within set budget limits. You have 3 options to choose from: maximum clicks, maximum conversions, or if you are advertising a mobile app, you can choose maximum app installs. You see that we've got a minimum weekly budget limit, the minimum that you need to invest, 300 rubles, $10, 10 euros, not much. Your budget will be distributed according to your time targeting settings as well. And if you don't set a maximum bid, then 10% of your weekly budget will be the maximum. You will not, your campaign will not spend more than 10% of your budget on one bid. Next, click optimization now for average CPC. This is good for advertisers who want to get the maximum number of clicks over the course of a week while maintaining their average cost per click at equal to or below the value that they set. If you have a specific idea of how much you're willing to spend, you're willing to pay for visitors, this is an especially good strategy. And compared to, for example, other strategies like click packages, this works even for campaigns with less than 100 clicks per week. If you've got a small business, or maybe your product is not something, or your service is not something that people search for in large volumes, this average CPC strategy will be able to help you. Minimum average bid 0.9 rubles, 3 cents or 3 euro cents, and you've got the option to limit your weekly spending as well. Let's move on and look at your campaign settings. First, geotargeting. We mentioned it in WordStat. We mentioned it in WordStat. If you offer your products or services in specific areas, or if you want to focus on improving your business in certain regions, geotargeting settings are going to be really important. What does it allow you to do? You can maximize traffic from certain regions by setting positive bid adjustments, as we've seen here with the Central Federal District. Or you can set negative bid adjustments or just disable impressions for regions where you do not operate, where you're not interested in promoting your business, etc., etc. Russia's a big country. It's worth paying attention to geotargeting settings. Let's look more at bid adjustments. So, bid adjustments in general can be set at the campaign level and at the ad group level. Obviously, the campaign level is higher. You can set bid adjustments for your target audience. So this is when you define the users that you are specifically trying to show your ads. You set certain conditions. These can then be used for retargeting and for audience selection. You can set bid adjustments for mobile devices. We've had examples in different research that we've done showing that, for example, children's clothing, different products for young kids, parents that are looking to buy things for their children, they are most often looking for them from their mobile phones. So if you're selling products that have a clear, that users prefer to search for on certain devices, you can set bid adjustments, positive bid adjustments for those devices. Age and gender, as we mentioned with our example about the hypothesis of men aged 55 and older, and for video extensions in ad networks, which we've talked about in other YouTube videos. Again, go to our account, look for our video about video ads. So, how are bids calculated when you are using bid adjustments? So, let's say our original bid is 15 rubles. We're setting a positive bid adjustment of increase by 60% for women aged 25 to 34. We know that this is the core of our customer base. So this means that our regular bid plus 60%, it's 160% of your bid, or your bid times 1.6. We know that these women that are looking for our products or services are searching from their mobile devices. So we want to set a positive bid adjustment of 30% for mobile impressions, your bid times 1.3. And we are mainly serving the Moscow city and Moscow region. So we're setting a very large positive bid adjustment of 200%, which will then lead to your bid times 3. So what happens? If we get our ideal user, a woman aged 25 to 34, on a mobile device located in the city of Moscow or the region of Moscow, you will have a calculation like this: 15 rubles times 1.6, which is our adjustment for gender, 1.3, our adjustment for mobile devices, and 3 for Moscow city and region. It means that when Yandex.Direct, using crypto technology, is able to detect that this is the type of user you have in front of you, for that impression, your bid can be as high as 93.6 rubles. Yes, that obviously seems much higher than 15 rubles, but if this is your target audience, if this is the type of user that's most likely to convert, to make a purchase, place an order, then it makes sense to spend more for them. Next, we have our related keyword setting. This is a relatively new feature in Yandex.Direct. Very important if your reach is currently too small, if you're not covering your target audience with your current keywords. What happens? If you enable impressions for related keywords, you set a maximum expenditure, what percentage of your budget you are willing to spend on related keywords, you can see here that if you have Yandex.Metrica set up, which of course we recommend, it's free, you can also use it to affect your reaching your goals in Yandex.Metrica. What happens? You have your keyword list. If the system understands that a search query is related to your campaign by looking at your ad copy, by looking at your keyword list, it will also show your ads for users outside searching for queries that are related, similar in meaning, to the keywords that you have in your campaign. This is especially important if you've just recently launched a new campaign, because then you can look at your search queries report, see which queries users were entering to find your products. If they're converting well, you can then add them to your key list, and this allows you to increase the size of your key list. We recommend setting an expenditure percentage of maybe 5 to 10%, waiting a bit, checking your statistics, see which queries are attracting your customers, and then you can increase it slowly over time until you find the right balance. Okay, next. As you choose your campaign settings, remember, we talked about naming your campaign in such a way that you'll easily understand what it's referring to. Roses, birthdays, St. Petersburg, generic queries, etc. Within your campaign, you can set and edit the display regions for each of the ads within the campaign, meaning that if you have an ad for Rose's birthday Moscow, you can copy the ad, change the geo settings, and then be able to have a customized ad mentioning, for example, different cities where you operate, to make the ads as relevant as possible, so that you don't just have an ad saying buy roses here. You can say buy roses here in Moscow. People see that it's more relevant. They're more likely to click on your ad. And of course, we recommend filling out the V-card. The V-card contains all your contact information. It will appear in all the ad groups that you create. And just remember that any changes that you make to your V-card on the campaign settings page will then apply to all the existing ad groups within the campaign. Now, we've got our penultimate section, checking ad quality. This is extremely important with your campaign optimization, actually checking the quality of your ads, how good they are, how relevant they are. Let's look at how we do it. So, first, before we even look at your ads, we need to look at your landing page. Why is this important? We need to see how well your landing page responds to the original query that users entered in Yandex Search or the sites of one of our search partners. So let's say someone entered, they're looking for trips to Austria. They type it, they enter it on Yandex Search, they see a relevant ad, they click on it, and they see this page. At the top here, highlighted in yellow, we can see trips to Austria. So right away, they know that they're in the right place. And they drop their gaze just a tiny bit, and they can see different offers, prices, they can send requests, prices for tours going to different cities, etc., etc. So they are immediately seeing that their original search query, they found the answer to it. If your landing page is bad, is irrelevant, is disorganized, it will be very difficult for your ads to do the work that you need to do on your own landing page. So have a careful look, make sure that it's organized correctly, make sure that the first page that people reach when they click on your ads here, you've got list of services, you've got a very clear menu at the top, you've got contact information, you've got pictures of the managers that they can contact. It's got all the information that they need. This is a good example. Next, highlighted text. So if, let's say I enter a search query, like buy holiday package tour. Very popular in Russia for people to buy an entire package together. Dates, flights, hotels, food, transfer from the airport, everything all in one. If the text of my search query matches the text in your ad, it will appear in bold text. Yeah? This attracts extra attention to your ad. You can see that there's more highlighted text in the first two ads here, even if you don't speak Russian. More highlighted text in the first two ads than in the last one. It attracts attention. It increases your click-through rates. And this applies on both search and in the Yandex advertising network. So we can give a good example and a bad example here. At the top, we've got someone looking for plots of land for a summer house. Yeah? They type in, summer house property. They see the exact same text with the price range starting at 2.75 million rubles. They immediately have the answer to what they were looking for. They immediately see the relevance and the link. The bottom, this advertiser chose to highlight what good infrastructure there is in this area where they're selling these properties. That's good, but not for the ad title. It's not mentioning the object being advertised. Yeah? They're not selling infrastructure, they're selling actual plots of land. So make sure that your title mentions the thing that you are actually selling. Next, we've got a second ad title on the right-hand side here. Second ad title offers you the opportunity to mention things like promotions, latest news or changes to your site, special offers, discounts, promotions, etc., etc. Any extra information that might be appealing to users. Yeah? So you can fill users in on what they might want to know, what will attract them to your site instead of your competitors. Obviously, on the left, we've got highlighted text. Someone looked for high-heeled shoes. They saw high-heeled shoes. And then we give them extra information that's going to attract them to our site. Just remember, just a side note, we've got some of the search queries here shown in English. Obviously, people search in Yandex mainly in Russian, and ads are in Russian. Let's go on now to your ad texts. You want to be providing information in your ad texts that not only matches and is relevant to what the search query is, but that, again, is going to set you apart from your competitors. So what do we have here in the ad text? We've got someone looking for a charger for their laptop, highlighted text. They have the same thing as the query. Their second ad title, they're mentioning that you can receive this product, this charger. You can have it delivered within 30 minutes. Free delivery, and also offering a discount for those users that place an order online and then pick it up from the store themselves. This information that's included in their ad text, it's information that's going to help users make a decision to click on their ad to make a purchase there instead of with a competitor. So you want to mention the advantages of your offer. This is going to increase your ad CTR, just like as I mentioned, including your keywords in your ad texts as well. Next, as you're writing your ad texts, we recommend avoiding using texts that are grammatically incorrect, misspelled, any kind of language that's maybe overly informal. Be careful with slang. And also, you don't want to have kind of dubious calls to action like, click here now, only today, cheaper than our competitors. You want to kind of have a bit more dignified texts. Generally, our research has shown that, call to actions like, click here now, don't have such a positive effect. Okay, next. Just one moment, please. We're going to look at the extensions that you can add to your ads. So these extensions give you the opportunity to describe your offer in more detail. They allow your ads to appear in the maximum number of SERP layouts. Yeah? SERP layouts, let's talk about them. SERP stands for Search Engine Results Page. SERP layouts, basically this refers to the ways that your ads can appear on the search results page. These different layouts vary. We have lots of them at Yandex. We offer a wide variety of them. The range of them is growing. This is extremely important because we don't want to be showing the same ads in the same kind of layouts all the time. People will get bored. They can generally just lose interest in ads and not click on them at all, not even look at them at all. With varying SERP layouts that appear in different ways on the search results page, it kind of keeps users guessing. Yeah? Here's just a short list of examples that we've got. Expanded format, this is when your ad is appearing in a larger size than normal, followed by just a regular ad block. If you add images to your ads, you can appear in a SERP layout that has an image. We've got a product gallery, and we've got a block with chats or other additional elements. Chats are especially popular in Russia these days when you have sales representatives that work here, or at least speak Russian. When users search for your ads, the ad will have a little button that they can click and immediately open up a chat with one of your employees. They can immediately ask questions, get quotes for how much it's going to cost, ask questions about, I don't know, delivery conditions, things like that. Very popular, but only relevant if you have Russian-speaking employees. So, in any case, the important thing I want to kind of highlight here is if you add as many as possible ad extensions, your ad will be able to appear in the maximum number of these search layouts. Yeah? So, for example, if you don't have an image added to your campaigns, you're not going to be able to appear in the second SERP layout. You're not going to be able to appear in the third SERP layout. So you're already losing opportunities to appear to users that quite possibly are interested in your products and services. So it's worth taking the time and adding these extensions that we're now going to look at. Not now, in a second. So we're going to now look at A/B testing. What do we want to recommend here? Within a campaign, you can create ad groups that are virtually identical with just one feature that's different. So, for example, you can test two different kinds of ad texts. You can test two different images. You can test different site links, which we'll talk about. And what you have two different ad groups that will have their own statistics. You can compare the conversion rates. You can compare the number of clicks. And that way, you might find that having two different ad groups with, for example, different ad texts, they appeal to different audiences. You can leave them both. Why not? Or you might find that one of them performs better. It gives you some kind of insight into your target audience. And you can then apply what you learned from this A/B testing to the rest of your campaigns. Yeah, let's look. Moving on to refining keywords. Our last section already. So, how keywords work. Ads in Yandex.Direct appear for queries that fully contain your keyword. So, buy car is your keyword. If somebody enters buy car cheap, buy car in Moscow, car BMW buy, your ad will appear. Of course, our examples always look a bit funny in English, I just want to mention. Word order is very different in Russian. How people search, the types of queries that people enter is very different in Russian. You've got 6 different case endings that you can have. You've got very different slang. So they might sound a bit strange in English, but this is kind of normal. Your ad will not appear if someone writes, for example, what vehicle should I buy? Buy good vehicle, spare parts for car order. Okay, simple. Here you can just take a look. We've got different types of match types that are available in Yandex.Direct. We generally use operators, things like square brackets, quotation marks. You can look at the Google equivalent. Things like fixed word order, as I mentioned. This is quite significant in Russian. Take a moment. When we post the video on YouTube later on, you can spend more time looking at this chart and see how the match types work. Very similar to our competitors. Related keywords in Yandex, we mentioned it before. It's similar to Google's broad match. It can include original keywords, other parts of speech. Very important in Russian, transliterations. So someone can type in the brand name Apple. They can write it in English. They can write it in Russian. They can also enter it with the wrong keyboard turned on. For example, they wrote it in English, but their keyboard was set to Russian. This kind of nonsense sequence of letters, Yandex.Direct, when you have related keywords entered, understands that they were in fact searching for Apple. So, we already mentioned this. Yeah, most important thing here is to understand that it includes synonyms, typos, transliterations. Yeah, kind of a famous example. A lot of Russians don't understand how to spell IKEA in Russian. I don't know why, but there's like several different versions of how you can spell IKEA, how you can spell other company names like Hyundai, things like that. So it's quite good to have related keywords enabled, just because your audience might be spelling the name of your country, the name of your company in different ways. We've got our examples. So, booking, people looking for hotels, yeah? You're looking at the number of impressions in all of Russia. People that can spell booking correctly in English, 1.15 million. People that spell booking in Russian, 1.2 million. So, this is important. iPhone in English, iPhone in Russian, you've got 8 million, nearly 9 million compared to 3.3 million. This is a big deal. People who are actually writing Paris, or maybe they're writing it in French, Paris, just 280,000. But people writing Paris in Russian, 1.3 million. So transliteration, important. I already gave away my own joke. People that can't spell IKEA. So very few people are looking for IKEA in English. Most people are spelling IKEA kind of literally changed into the Russian alphabet. And many of them are also spelling it, 122,000, that's a significant number. They're also spelling the word as if it were a Russian word. Yeah. And here we've got people have trouble spelling Hawaii in Russian. Clearly not a huge number of people looking for Hawaii. 129,000, then another 6,000 spelling it wrong, but Hawaii is clearly difficult. And of course, you want to use synonyms. We tried to give synonyms in English here. Obviously, they're different in Russian. So you're adding the keyword shoes. You might have a word like footwear. They're looking for scents, S-C-E-N-T, perfumes, colognes, things like that. Looking for color codes, people buying paint, right? F268, they might be writing it in a slightly different way, plus F268. And for example, iPhone model 8, they might be looking in Russian, or they might be writing iPhone 8th model. This is important to pay attention to. And here, this is again something that's kind of difficult to explain if you don't speak Russian. I tried to come up with examples like comp and computer, notebook, which is laptop in Russian. A lot of people just shorten to note. And because they perceive Yandex as a kind of local and friendly company, they will speak, let's say, to Yandex in very informal language and search for something just like note. MacBook, getting shortened to Mac. and then you have really crazy slang like 1,000 rubles can be Casserly. Yeah? If you don't speak Russian, you won't know this, but if you're selling a product that's getting sold for exactly 1,000 rubles, you might have people searching for, I don't know, whatever product they want, you know, haircut for 1,000 rubles. Okay, slang. Again, another situation where you need to talk to your Yandex manager if you haven't had the fortune of being born speaking Russian or had the misfortune of having had to learn it. If we're talking about keywords, we've got a very new tool in Yandex.Direct that can help you. This is auto-targeting, automatic keyword selection. Based on the huge amount of statistics that Yandex.Direct already has for impressions, conversion data, etc., you can create a campaign, turn on auto-targeting, and let it go. Yeah? What's it going to do? Yandex.Direct, the system itself, will analyze your campaigns, your ad copy, your landing page, and it will automatically create a keyword list for you. If you're in a rush, this is a good idea. It's also a good idea if you want to simply get your campaign going, and then over time check your search query reports and slowly build up your keyword list. Great tool, we recommend it. Try it out. Next. Actually, this might be the end. Yes. So just a few last final ideas that we want to mention. It's a bad idea to start with a large number of very uncommon, infrequent keywords. We recommend that you have a list of keywords with varying frequencies. Yes, you want to have ones that are popular, kind of mid-range, and rarer queries. Large numbers of infrequent keywords will get you all sorts of impressions that probably won't help you meet your goals that you have for your business. When you're choosing long tail queries, right? We're not talking about just buy flowers, but buy flowers cheap in Moscow. Yeah? Choose long tail queries that are getting 50 to 100 impressions per month, depending on, of course, on the topic, on the business type. To check this, WordStat, enter your search query, check the left-hand column. You'll see the list of your long tail queries for the search query that you entered. Remember that brand and product names can be written in different ways, in Russian and English, with slang names, different variants of transliteration, different spellings and misspellings. Very important to keep that in mind. Only select those queries that your site responds to directly. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I'll just add a bunch of other queries that are sort of related. Remember, the key is relevance. If your site is not relevant to your ads, you're going to be showing people ads that are not going to be bringing you any conversions. If you want to burn through money, go ahead, but we are trying to help you have effective campaigns, so we don't recommend doing that. And last but not least, you can test out auto-targeting to find new relevant keywords or to launch your campaign without creating a keyword list first. So, last thing we're going to talk about, negative keywords. We mentioned they can be added at the keyword, ad group, or campaign levels. Here you've got some examples. Keywords followed by negative keywords. For example, I'm selling BMWs, automobile we used, right? Reflecting Russian automobil. Automobile BMW 320i. I'm not selling spare parts. I add it to my negative keyword list. I put a minus sign in front of it. I'm not offering repair services. I want to sell the actual car. Get it out. Not offering service. I'm not selling used cars. Used. Get rid of it. Also, mileage, quite common for Russian users to search for cars. They don't necessarily say used cars, they say cars with mileage. You can immediately get rid of that one. Also things like characteristics. Yeah, someone who's not planning on buying a car just wants information about the BMW itself. You want to add that to your negative keywords simply because you want to sell cars, not provide information about them. Things like photographs, images, or if somebody wants to trade their car, add it to your negative keywords list. When you add negative keywords, your ads will not appear for search queries that contain any complete negative keyword from your list. I say complete because I'm referring to something like spare parts. Yeah, that functions as one negative keyword. Your ads will appear, however, in response to search queries that contain only part of a multi-word negative keyword from your list. At the keyword level, we've got them here. Buy furniture minus Moscow. Yeah, let's say I have a campaign that's not focused on Moscow, or I don't offer service to Moscow. What do I want to say here? We've also got the refine button here, you can see is highlighted. This is going to allow you to automatically add negative keywords for the keyword that you yourself have added in, based on our past statistics, of which we have a lot. What else can I say? We've got a list here. You can simply tick the box to add them if they're not relevant to your campaign. And once you tick the boxes, you want to click Save. Relatively simple. At the ad group level, go to the bid setting page, click negative keywords in ad group, enter the negative keywords you want to apply at the ad group level. You can either separate them with a minus sign or just hit enter and put them on separate lines. When you're done, click Save. Pretty simple. And negative keywords at the campaign level, you can see them on the campaigns page. Click Add, similar window pops up. Again, you can separate them onto different lines or with minus signs. Straightforward. And negative keywords and search queries report. What do we have here? Whenever you work on your keyword list, you want to take a look at your search query report. In the search query column on the left, you'll see the queries that the users entered. And in the impression criteria on the right, you'll see the keywords that triggered your impressions. Yeah? On the left-hand side, that's the user side. On the right-hand side, this is from the side of your campaign. This report will show you irrelevant keywords that you should add to your negative keyword list. And as I mentioned before, it will also show you ones that might be worth adding to your regular keyword list so that you can use them to attract users. Priority in cases of overlap. Keywords have priority over negative keywords. So negative keywords are ignored when they in fact overlap. So, what to take away from the webinar in general? Pay attention to your account quality indicators to get ideas for how to improve your campaigns. Remember, we talked about the recommendations that were in the upper right-hand side. Base any decisions that you make about your campaigns on statistics. We offer you a ton of statistics. If you have trouble understanding them, your Yandex manager can help you. But it's much better to use real statistics, real numbers, historical data to make decisions about your campaign performance than to kind of, I don't know, test random ideas or follow your intuition or something like that. We can make really concrete decisions based on real statistics. Please do that. Of course, we recommend using automatic strategies. As we said, bid data is being updated every 15 minutes. If you're not going to sit there all day, even if you're going to sit there all day and refresh your data and update your bids, it's simply impossible for humans to take into account the amount of data that Yandex.Direct automatic strategies take into account. Seasonality, levels of competition, regional coefficients, stuff that you can't even imagine. Our automatic strategies are able to handle that huge amount of information better than any regular human being. Maybe you're a genius, maybe you can do it, I don't know. For regular people, we recommend automatic strategies. That's going to free up your time for you to be able to focus on other things that you need to focus on. Calculate your optimal bid. Don't waste money on over-expensive clicks by just setting ridiculously high bids. Keep track of your campaign's search query statistics. We showed you how to look at those reports. This is important. Your Yandex Manager can help you. And very, very important, use all available ad extensions so that you can have your ads appear in as many as possible SERP layouts. Call outs, we have separate videos on how to add them. Site links, site link descriptions, your vCard, second ad titles, templates. Go to our YouTube account, check out the videos. We've got videos that are maybe 1.5 minutes in length, show you exactly where to click, how to add these extensions. This can have a big effect on your campaign performance. So please, I'll say it one more time, send us your feedback, let us know how this was. I hope it was interesting, I hope it was informative. Our team really worked hard to put this webinar together. And if we're able to figure out which areas we need to focus on next, we'll be glad to do another webinar in 2020. So enjoy the rest of the year. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas in advance. If not, whatever holidays you celebrate, Happy New Year. And we hope to see you in 2020. That's all from my end. Thank you for tuning in. Please keep in touch. Bye-bye.